Welcome to today's webinar. We will be talking about the masked villain, how ransomware infiltrates the system, and how to prevent it. Our speakers for this session will be Interware Solution Consultant Troy Lawrence and Fortinet Cybersecurity Advisor and Business Development Engineer Jonathan Q. Please feel free to type in your questions in the chat box and we will address them at the end of the session. So now please welcome Troy.
Thank you, Camille. Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to this month's webinar. My name is Troy Lawrence, and I'm with Interware Systems. For those of you who do not know Interware, we are your one-stop shop for everything cybersecurity, whether your issues require InfoSec policy generation and management, awareness training for staff, cybersecurity assessments, or simply hardware and software solutions. We help our clients digitally transform their businesses to increase efficiency, reduce cost, and drive growth, all without cutting corners on their cybersecurity. And our certified experts are skilled in multiple different cloud-based and on-prem infrastructure solutions to help with our clients' problems and pain points. Our topic today is how ransomware infiltrates the system and how it prevents it. And I'm going to start with a few statistics. So to begin, in 2021, approximately 37% of businesses were hit by ransomware. 32% of them ended up paying the ransom, but on average, about only 65% of their data, they only got back 65% of their data. In the first half of 2022, there were over 236 million ransomware attacks worldwide. And with an average cost of a ransomware attack per incident being about $1.85 million, that is a lot of money lost. Finally, in 2022, the most common entry point for ransomware was a phishing attack at about 41%. So now I'd like to take a look at the emerging threat landscape. And my first topic is the tech talent gap. It's no secret that the tech talent gap is increasing. COVID-19 forced businesses to digitally transform themselves to stay competitive. This acceleration of digital adoption has increased the need for skilled IT experts, and unfortunately, the demand for these experts outpaces the availability. On top of that, the threat of cyber attack is constant, and it could occur at any time. To ensure your business stays protected, it requires 24/7 monitoring and response, vulnerability patches and updates, security solutions, and much more. The cyber threat landscape is changing faster than businesses are able to adapt, and the shortage of skilled IT experts only slows us down more. We need solutions that can help automate tedious and time-consuming tasks so that our IT security teams are able to focus on other important tasks. Which leads me to my second topic, which is the rise of artificial intelligence and machine learning. Now, these tools are being heavily integrated into our cyber defenses to help defend against increasingly sophisticated threats, while also helping to lighten the load on current IT security teams. Using these tools, zero-day threats can be mitigated before any damage to a network is done. At the same time, they can also help in automating the tedious and time-consuming tasks to allow IT security teams to focus on other important tasks. However, as I said, these are tools, and if cybersecurity experts are using them, so are cybercriminals. Cybercriminals are using these tools to make their attacks more effective, from using AI to create emails that are able to bypass spam filters, to having them analyze large sets of passwords recovered from leaks and learning how users will change their passwords over time. Some cybercriminals are even using ChatGPT to create new forms of malware, ransomware, create dark websites, and more. Another way that businesses can cut down on their IT security team's tasks is by cutting over to cloud-based services. As part of many businesses' digital transformations, many are turning to cloud providers for services such as Azure AD by Microsoft or Amazon Web Services. with 99.99% of uptime provided by these cloud-based providers, a business can cut down on their operational costs and focus on profitability. However, the data in the cloud is no longer protected by the network firewall, and additional steps need to be taken in order to protect it, such as implementing ZTNA and SASE solutions. Finally, the last topic that I wanted to discuss is awareness training. As I mentioned before, a very common way for ransomware to gain access to a network is through phishing attacks. And phishing attacks are only successful when an end user is tricked. You could have all of the security solutions in the world, but it just takes one person, one end user, to get caught unaware to make a successful attack. And this is why awareness training is so important in today's cyber threat landscape. Knowledge is power, and knowing what is or isn't phishing can make the difference between evading a cyber attack and being hit by one. With that, I'd like to take a look at some recent cyber attacks. To begin with, in July of 2022, the town of St. Mary's in Ontario was hit by ransomware. During a routine system backup, the IT staff became aware of a cyber attack and disconnected their servers to prevent further systems from being impacted. At the end of it, though, the town ended up paying the $290,000 ransom, but the total cost of the attack ended up costing $1.3 million, after which the town decided to migrate their operating environments to the cloud. In May of 2022, Cisco was infiltrated by the Yanluo Wang ransomware gang. Now, this group got credentials from a compromised personal Google account, and they even got past the MFA with a successful voice phishing campaign. Now, Cisco said that they detected the intrusion before the threat actors could deploy any ransomware, and any info that was posted online, Cisco confirmed that it was data they had already identified and disclosed. Later in the year, in December of 2022, Rackspace, a cloud service provider, was hit by ransomware. Their customers were unable to access their mail services, and the cloud provider called it a security incident, which they later confirmed was ransomware. The cyber criminals were used an exploit known as OWA SSRF, which allows remote code execution through Outlook web access. Finally, as well, in December of 2022, Sick Kids Hospital was hit by Lockbit. Now, Lockbit later apologized and gave them a free decryptor, and also said that they were cutting ties with the partner who had performed the attack. As of January 5th, Sick Kids Hospital was back up and running priority systems at about 80%. Now, the point that I'm trying to get across here is that ransomware is becoming more and more sophisticated. Cybercriminals are not so much concerned with who they hit so long as they hit something, and AI and machine learning is only helping them become more successful. We need to be armed with the right solutions to protect ourselves. I'm here today with Jonathan Q of Fortinet, the global leader of cybersecurity solutions with a comprehensive suite of products and services that are designed to help organizations stay ahead of evolving threats and protect their critical assets. Take it away, Jonathan.
Thank you, Troy. Share my screen. Just let me know it's working. Can you see it?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Troy. Thank you, Interware. We're very happy today to represent Fortinet to share our experience and share our solution, how ransomware infiltrates the network and how we can prevent it. So, as Troy introduced earlier, right, there's a lot of changing in the business world today. And what it's, as we see in the last pandemic, the people are forced to stay from home. So they have to work from anywhere. And even now, these days, we're a little back to work. It's a hybrid mode. So 3 days at work, 2 days at home, and sometimes you need to travel around everywhere. We need to support that. And also, digital acceleration is also because the pandemic and business need a new way to promote their sales, promote their business growth. And they take IT as enabler to accelerate this. So there's a lot of changes inside the internal infrastructure as well. For application journey, you need to bring application to the users convenient they can access to for internal people and for your customer and as well as for your partner. It could be in the cloud, it could be in the edge, and we need to support that. In addition to that, there are many, many more devices now connected to the network. Sorry, connected to network, IoT, IIoT, and there's a lot of enough resources available to you. So therefore, we're looking for the robot, right? There's a RPA in the bank. There's a lot of IoT stuff. Even for your home, you have some Google Hub and Amazon Alexa, and using those tools to help to make your life easier, make your job easier. So there's a lot of matrix. There are a lot of changing in the IT matrix, and we need to defend against. On the flip side, there's also evolving threat landscape. Tori already shared some number. It is intensify. It never stop. It's getting even worse because nation state sponsored attack is increasing. In addition to that, as Troy using the example, like in the Lockbit, they're treated ransomware as a service. What are they doing? It's an interesting story. What are they doing? They're not just doing just one group anymore. They actually working together. So some people are very specialized in creating the some ransomware software, and some group are good at collecting all those bots on your network, controlled bots, and the other getting the compromised credential. So they're working together to make that happen, make this is a lot easier so they can get money. It's a financial motivated. In addition to that, it's a growing attack surface is growing as well. As we see, when you're going home, you have to work from home. When a lot of the bring your own devices, you added some unmanaged devices to the network, access your corporate credential data, and those are valuable to you. Data is the most important in your organization, right? This is growing attack surface, how we can manage that. And last one, but not least, not just we are looking at the ChatGPT, the malware creator adversary, they're also leveraging the new technology like a machine learning into the ransomware generation. So they can quickly pivot, creating a different example of the malware attack against you. So this is very pressing. How we can do that, and what do we see in the latest news? So in addition to Troy's sharing, I have some others that I can share with you. See, this is the Canadian Center for Cybersecurity. It's the government agency. Basically, the government agency observed victim in 2021 when the critical sectors like healthcare, energy, and manufacturing. And this is, they are urging, including combined with the RCMP, right, the local law enforcement, they're urging Canadian business to upgrade their cybersecurity infrastructure. So we need to up our game. And the average cost is alarming as well. It's from 970K in 2020 and goes up to $2.3 million in 2021. So it's not just a, inconvenience. It will breaking your bottom line. So business owner, take notes, please react to it. And also in 2021, we noticed there's 235 ransomware attacks against the Canadian organization. Maybe the popular one ransomware example in news is a Carolian pipeline in US. right? But we are in Canada. We're focused on Canadian business. So I would like to share a little bit more about examples. In 2020 and 2021, see all our public transit in Montreal, in Vancouver, TTC in Toronto get hacked, then ransomware attacked. They are asking for anywhere from 2.3 to 2.3 million to 7 point something million dollar range. And as you see last year, toward the end of last year, Sobeys, the parent company is called Empire Group, they get hacked. You probably notice, right? Freshco, Sobeys, when you go into the store, you couldn't even purchase. You have to line up in the menu checkout. And there's a lot of shelf is empty because the whole ransomware attack. And that's a 25 million hit to the bottom line. And then Maple Leaf Foods, they got a $23 million hit in the pipe in their bottom line, and that need to recover. It's a huge loss to them. And not last not but least, Troy shared earlier, and it's a code gray. Why this is so important? Because now it's not just about security breach, security breakdown, interruption. This is about life or death situation with the kids, with the hospital. It could happen to them. It could happen to you. So we need a better solution to do that. And this is the example when you get a hit, ransomware. I hope you and your organization will never see this. It's very, alarming and also very depressed. And that will keep you awake, right? And according to 2021 first year global threat landscape report from our FortiGuard lab, ransomware grew 10 times between 2020 and 2021 in the middle year. And this time is counting, and this is the time for you to up your game as well. So let's think about it. What is ransomware? Ransomware is a type of malware to get into your network and block you, right? Encrypt the files or just lock you out of the computer and exchange for ransom. If you don't pay, your data gonna be gone. And how to get to your network, we need to look into this coaching. As you probably familiar with this from the other materials, right? We need to follow the Lockheed Martin's log chain, kill chain. So the adversary, they do the recon. Basically, they're looking for things where, just like you imagine, it's your own house. You need a security, and the thief or the robber try to get into your house. What do? They probably come to visit your house. They walk around to see the weakness, how many windows, how many doors, that they probably can skip in, and to see what type of door lock you have. This is the recon, right? So they actually taking time to looking your network from the external and looking for the weakness. What type of file we're using, what VPN server you're using, what type of remote access do you have, like a Citrix? Do you have a terminal server RDP enabled, right? Do you have a website public facing people can visit and they're trying to find out, is that Microsoft IIS web server or is it Apache server? That's the time they took and the finding. And then unfortunately, all the software, hardware, they will have a weakness called vulnerability. So that's a weakness. It's just a bugs or something that is during the manufacture. They're not unintentional, no on purpose, but it just avoided. There's something they use, some code they use, or the library that get outdated, and the adversary will discover that and will leverage that. And then they will weaponize, basically just to form a strategize. For example, you have an IIS server. Then they go to find what's the vulnerability or the weakness of IIS servers, the version you are running. So then can create a malware, leveraging a malware and attack you. Then they deliver over to you. So how they get in, as you see in the bottom, right? Usually they send you with an email or sometimes they send you a embedded the malicious code in the web server you're visiting. Sometimes we call this a waterfall, meaning that you always go, you have like a gaming server. If you are into the gaming, you will always visit the gaming community. So then malicious adversary can embed a malicious code in the website. When you visit, it will launch that in your browser without, you will notice. It will grab in, get into your network and start to deliver that payload. And once that malicious file there, they will looking around your network. So if your network is a flat, meaning that you don't have a segmentation, you don't have like a different zone, and they can go anywhere they want, and they will go as close as possible to the critical server. Your valuable data stores there, and then they will install there, right? Letter movement, and they will install that there, and then we call back the mothership. So it's just getting turn your machine into a bot and report back to the command control server in the internet somewhere, and receive the code, an extra code. The malicious code can do the damage, and they find your valuable data. It could be your patient data, it could be your financial information, your competitive, your personal intellectual IP, and they go encrypt it and ask for the ransom. So basically, this is how they attack you, and it gets in, and it detonates, you execute the payload, malicious payload, then it start to encrypt, and it will spread out. And that's the worst thing. Especially these days, ransomware, they do a double extortion, meaning that they not only ask you for the ransom when they start to attack, but they also exfiltrate these valuable data, and they will do study of your valuable data and will attack you or ransom again, coerce it again. So it's very critical. We don't want to deal that mess when it's happened. It's better to be a proactive. And once ransomware attack has started, what can we do with it? Right? All the organization wanted looking for the answer or looking for a control measure to protect against that. See, there's a lot of controls they're looking at, a lot of products they're looking at, software, secure web gateway, enhanced VPN, right? And the network access control. There's a lot of them. You see those. It's very popular, but there are so many of them. There's a challenge for that. Why? Because we're still seeing a lot of people getting hit. A lot of organizations unfortunately fall into this attack, and this is the time average time to identify breach is 197 days, and 70 days is the average time to recover from a breach. Imagine like if not just your business. What about your home, right? If you get hit by the ransomware, and your precious photos, family pictures, your memories, they all gonna gone, because it's not, if you don't get them back until you pay for them, right? And it needs average until cybercriminal begin automated scanning exploitation of new CVE. That's the time your adversary start to attack you. They are leveraging the vulnerability, discover the vulnerability. They act too quickly, and we act too slowly. So the current approach is inadequate. We need a better way to do that. And why those the best of breed point product doesn't work very, very well? Because the traditional approach, as you see, we talk about, right? The company will say, okay, we need for example, CASP, we have SaaS services, we need to buy, we need to regulate the sanctioned the access to that. Only the commercial version of the Dropbox or the box can be used. I will block anything to your home Google Drive. But then you have a CASP solution, then you buy email, then you on the, and what happened is that no one have so many people, so many people, so much time to expertise, right? Be an expert on each of those best of breed product. And these products, so-called, why they called best of breed? Because they're very complicated to defeat against the complicated attacks. So you need a lot of time to learn about it, be expert of it, and before you can configure properly and take it efficacy, see the efficacy. Another one is the point product complexity. Now you have so many Windows consoles in order to control the attack, right? And it just overwhelming. Imagine there's an attack, they're going to trigger multiple alerts, and that multiple alerts all light up in the single day within the within 10 minutes. Your IT staff, which one to go? Like it's really hard because they're not working together. And the alerts overhead will generate so-called alert fatigue that will be wearing your team down, IT and IT security team down, and eventually they're gonna quit because it just that cannot catch up as fast as they can attack you, right? So do we have another approach? And Gartner released a article in 2021 is talking about cybersecurity mesh architecture. What that is that on the left is the traditional approach. On the right is what they call the mesh approach, mesh architecture approach. And in this case is not bringing all the telemetry, the events, alerts into a central place. They still do, but at the same time, they can freely sharing that discover the events or alerts with the other components on your network, right, in your whole ecosystem. And then they can decide quickly. But also this has required to be a modular approach, meaning that because every company will grow, you don't have not facing the same threat and risk. You are facing the risk right now on the CASB, not necessarily from the other security web gateway need. So therefore, you can modularly design, adding them to it. But once you add the components, the control components into this ecosystem architecture, they shall talk to each other. So this is about integrating security products. It's no longer sent to the central place or one console. It's now there need a freely flow that intelligence sharing among these components, mesh architecture components, and working collectively to deliver a better security posture. And by the Network World article, they said one vendor that has solved the problem challenge is Fortinet, is us. And we do that by offering a security fabric and deliver exactly what we talk about. And the service can be made available to all points in the environment. And now, this day on the left is still, right? We need to consolidate and reduce like a 20 plus vendors. And even for a large organization like a banks, they might have 100 vendors. How can you manage that? So we need to reduce that to a manageable, like it's 3, 4 to 6 platform. For example, you will go to a cloud, you will Azure, you will go to AWS, but at the same time, you on the security needs, you leveraging the Fortinet security fabric to deliver that capability to protect you. So on the right side, this is how we do. At the center of things is that we have the FortiGuard Threat Intelligence Lab. We have 200 dedicated research and scientists that just looking into the advanced threats, including ransomware. And then they will come up with the solution, leveraging the machine learning, collect among our customer around the world. We have, I think, maybe 30 billion devices that we protect against. And then we have the solution platform such as Zero Trust that will deliver the user device application access, network access securely as a combined capability. On the other side, we are supporting your business go to the cloud and enhance that acceleration by delivering the security into the cloud security package. And then we have not only just provided connectivity, but secure that connectivity in your organization. And we call it secure networking, such as the AP, such as the switch, such as the remote access and SD-WAN requirement, and a 5G connection if there's a need for you to remote connection, right? And all these will be tied into the top, which is single pane of glass, manage what's going on the network. And this is our NOC and SOC offering. So this is what we call a anti-ransomware architecture. And very importantly, we need a defense in depth. So we need to have the multi controls. We're not just a single one product gonna do the trick. There's no silver bullet, right? And then we need to be a broad coverage, enable the end-to-end visibility across the full network and endpoints. If you cannot see it, how can you protect it? Would you agree? Then, very importantly, is integrated, as we already show. You don't want a single silo product, best of breed. You want them integrated best of breed. And the last one is, as we talk about sick kits, they attacked by the Lockbit malware group, and they are leveraging machine learning. Do you know they even give including a call center service? If you don't know how to pay the ransom, they have a call center to help you to change to a digital currency and to pay for that. And then even have Bugs Bunny. Basically, is they're not open source, but they asked all the world. They give, I think it's $1 million, like who can crack it. So if you are not leveraging on it like us, using the machine learning, and you will be defeated by the adversary. So after all these deployment, this infrastructure setup, the most important is reduce the impact, or reduce the impact, the breach cost when it happens, the incident happens. How we do that, as you see on the left side, is normal. Then something happened. Detection response zone is something not right. You find some indicator of compromise, and it has not spread out to your whole network. It has not started to encrypt your whole valuable servers yet. And those the time interval that we can react quickly. If we can identify that proactively ahead of time, or we do stop that attack from happening. Even after the fact, they get into the network. As soon as we saw that, we stop it, and we're gonna greatly reduce. Remember that we talk about the Sobe, right? They are and Maple Leaf Food. They lost $20-something million. We don't have $20 million to lose. So the best way is invest a small portion of it, to enhance and build up that security fabric solution architecture to protect you. Okay, and you will say it's a complex world. There's a lot of priorities. Where do I start, right? And the best way is adopt a NIST framework, control framework. So NIST is the agency in the States, but they public the cybersecurity framework, the systematic approach to enhance your security capability, defeat against attack. And this is widely used, and it's open source. You don't have to pay for it. You just adopt it. And they talking about the 5 function: identify, protect, detect, and response, and recovery. And there's a lot of security capability within that function, so deliver that. So you could adopt this and work with Interware or us together to assess. After you do assessment, then you will know where to start, right? Would you agree? So I just using one example, security architecture maturity. So there's a 5 level. This is follow the model like a CMML. So capability maturity model, the approach. So we break down. Number 1 is initial. So you have the basic protect against some external attack. Then you have a developing and manual activity to do that. So you have the awareness. You know what devices, critical server, your data, where they are, and how you can lock them down. And then it will be defined. And the proactive is that now you're not just something happened, you go to do it. You are actively deploying some control that do the detection now, right? So once they just knocking on the door, trying to find out, do a recon as we talk about the kill chain. Now you're able to see earlier, then you can react earlier. And then it's everything defined and you're managed. Managed meaning that you're not only monitoring them, right? But you also measure them, like reporting yourself internally, weekly, monthly, or quarterly. And then you can if you don't, you cannot compare it. How can you improve? So that is the manage and monitor. And last one is the that's the state we want to be. That's the area we want to be. Item optimized and continuous improvement, because assessment control is not one thing. Threat is evolving, the new threats can come in and we need to reassess. And this assessment you can work with Interware, and we can Fortinet going to support that as well. Okay, so as I mentioned, in the NIST framework, we have a multiple approach. One is we call it prepare. The prepare is the organization must ready their people, process, and products in advance to start today's campaign. So what that does is we're talking about people. Everything is about people, right? Yes, it is about data, but data is like serve the people. That people could be your internal people, employee, your staff. Their user experience satisfaction is important, because one ransomware attack, they cannot work. They are frustrated, and guess what? They might leave. So at the same time, and of course, a business is deliver a service, a product to the customer. So customer experience is important as well. Imagine ransomware attack you and you cannot deliver service, they are gone, and your business is going to be really impacted heavily. So this is, we have to support the people. To support the people better, your internal people better, is help them to get a wellness training. So the training is very important. At Fortinet, we recognize that from our NSE lab institute, we call them the like educations, college, whatever you call it. We have a training side. We offer some free courses, and then I believe Interware also has some tailored, customized training module for you to train your own staff to be a better on security. Process, same thing, is that what the process need to be is the incident response, right? You need some playbook, the playbook when something happened and how you react to it, and you need to prepare for the worst. Hopefully there's we deployed the best efficient control, we will never go there. But what if it happened? Do you have what it takes? Do you have know how and who gonna do what to react to the ransomware attack? And those are part of the incident response plan. Then prevent. How can we prevent? We implement the security control, implement the security product solution to defeat against that. So that's including our products. Detect is after we deploy the control of the product, is it working properly? We don't know. So we need to detect, we need to do the secure monitoring to make sure our control put into place are effective. And also we are looking for the new threats coming out that we didn't prepare for, but then there will be a way to detect that, and including the threat hunting. And the last one is response. Something goes wrong, and how we can react quickly. We can contain that kind of attack, ransomware, and eradicate, get rid of them out of your network quickly, right? Restore and get the business business as usual quickly as possible. So we're sharing you how Fortinet can help you with that anti-ransomware architecture. First, we're focused on the protect. So our control to protect you. Number one is the perimeter and the cloud security, right? As you see in the red shade on the right side, right? On the top, we have the cloud. So that's the service that you're going to. You're moving a lot, many more workload into the cloud. It could be AWS, could be Azure, no matter. And we have a virtual firewall there, right? We have the 40 CMP, which is the nature, like it's nature, cloud nature protection there. Uh, and native protection there. We have a 40 mail, we have the 40 SASE solution to enhance that kind of access. And then for your parameter network, which is on the bottom, that is your traditional network. So you have the FortiGate you already loved, and you can consider if you're using the other vendor, that's fine. But what could you do is that all the connectivity has to be secure. So can you turn the switch in secure switch? Can you turn become a secure AP out of the box rather than you have the connectivity? Then I say I need to purchase extra protection on top of that, right? So with a 40 switch, what is 40 AP, plug into the FortiGate, it will naturally become all in one and managed together from the same console, and you have the better visibility from the single console. This is the beauty of that. And in addition to that is segmentation, meaning that you have financial server for financial team, you have market team, you can micro segmentation. You can leveraging the feature inside a FortiGate like a virtual VDOM, we call it, right? It's become a physical server, a virtual server within a physical server, and each virtual server function exactly the same as the physical server to protect that departments or business unit it's mean most to you.
Well,
Yeah, I apologize. I lost the internet. I guess a little bit glitches. That's why, the people like me probably need a 40 extender. 5G technology do a failover SD-WAN solution. I need a SD-WAN solution. Okay, so and we talk about deceive and divert, right? This is very unique. Why we do that is, as you see, there's a recon. People are like adversary try to knock your door, try to understand what you have. What if we could give them the false information, right? Then that will buy us time to delay them, or we point them to the wrong direction. So they get into, for example, they knock the door, they try to get into like take a foothold into your network, but they are landing on our deceptor, for the deceptor, right? So we have give them a false information of the AD. There is a fake AD server, there's a fake file server share they have, and then they just say they don't know. So they thought that might be your valuable information, and they go that direction. And not only we divide them and taking more valuable time for you to defend or to mitigate. At the same time, it's a very real signal or real detection event. You know something wrong is happening. In the past, a lot of time we said, okay, we have many false positives. How can you be sure this is a real attack? But if they are the adversary is accessing those fake file server, fake AD, now you know for sure. Okay, then on the detect RAM, what can we do? Is the visibility, right? Visibility and inspection. So for this one, we have, for this one, we have the, sorry, I have the connection screen problem. Okay, I'm back. So we have the visibility inspection. For the visibility inspection is AI-driven networking detection response. So you have the endpoint protection, such as a 40 client, maybe some other vendor's device, but they only look at the endpoint, your workstation, your server. What about something on the network, right? Then you say, yeah, we have 40 gig. 40 gig give us the IP protection, right? No, you're absolutely right. IPS is there, but and IPS is also based on the signature approach, which is the known threat. How we can detect and defeat against the unknown. So that NDR solution, right? 40 NDR as the here, if you can see my screen in the middle on the left, right? Those are just like a machine learning empowered IPS to detect the suspicious process flow and behavior, then help you. Again, as I said, it's a defense in depth, right? We are step by step going to the better level 5, the maturity level 5, right? It's a journey. So we will go up with the control implemented, and we will be getting better. And the malware detection as an automated submission object from the existing security control. So this one is like for the sandbox we have multiple points like a gateway, for the gate, for the mail, for the web, and for the client. We can all submit that. And then this information will send it over to be observed collectively, right? Sometimes you need to connect the dots. So one thing, detection, indicate of compromise, maybe just a false positive. But if you see observer 2 things, 3 things, then you probably rest assured that is a bad things. Okay, and respond and recover in our framework, strategy framework, right? So very importantly is instant response. And instant response is sometimes is a tedious. Why I say that? For example, there's a phishing email come in, and your solution will like a leveraging for the mail. You can determine, hey, this is a phishing email. Okay, but a phishing email already get into your email system, and a lot of time you not just one person get that, multiple employee they got that. And what are you gonna do? The IT team and IT security gonna verify this? Yes, that's sufficient. Then they have to go to connect to the system, email system, delete the quarantine, and go to the Exchange server or Office 365, whatever, to go to that mailbox and to try to find the same copy and delete it. And then they need open the ticket, then typing this thing, and what they do. And this is not hard sometimes, but a lot of time has been burned, maybe more than an hour, right? For one person to do same thing again and again. So what if we have a AI powered machine learning powered that is knowing this and they can automate response. And all these manual processing will be automated by the 40 SOAR. And that will save your time and increase the user experiences. At the same time, they working together, right? For the saying that they will collect it all. You get a single pane of glass, knowing everything what's going on your network, and you can manage it properly. And you can build this in your NOC and SOC, right? It's a converged now because security networking, security services together. If you don't have a service, you can working with Interware because Interware has the NOC SOC combined service to offer you. Okay, so we are going to testing, right? Give you some, showing you some use cases, how we apply our infrastructure or architecture. Most common way we mentioned already is via email and web. 94% email, 3% email. So how we defeat against that? This is the typical way today, what we're doing. So we're using attacker send you a malicious email with a malicious attachment or URL link, and the mail gateway can only check in their existing known problem, right? The mail malware or virus, and they will clean it. But with the 0 day, meaning they never seen it, they will pass it over to the endpoint. And then your user with that workstation in the email in the risk because the ransomware are gonna infect them. And what our Fortinet security fabric solution gonna help is here. You have on your network FortiGate, so the email pass the mail goes reaching the FortiMail, and FortiMail doing the inspection locally and checking anything known issue. If they never seen this, and they will pass this over to the FortiSandbox for inspection. And after this is inspection, it will be analyzed in the sandbox for the verdict. And this is the multiple facets, including machine learning. Then when it's determined and this is the malicious. And then it will be sending the information back to the mail, say quarantine it, drop it. Not only that, because the security fabric, as you heard earlier, right? We need to share this information for all the components in our fabric or in this mesh network working together. So this copy of the information was shared with the FortiGate. So the FortiGate next time when there's another file upload, and it will block it. And then for your Forti client endpoint, when they open another file and they see this before, and they will block it. So therefore, they are now being infected in that way. Another use case is using USB. So if you have USB and they will plug into your laptop, and it will be affected. Endpoint software blocks the only known malware, but not the 0-day. But with this, right, we have with the sandbox, then it will be blocked. It's shared by the FortiMail. That's all. And leveraging a ransomware if you using a USB. So we have the EDR solution. EDR solution, it's not just signature based, it's looking at the behavior, a machine learning kind of antivirus detection. Then this an incident or event sent over to FortiSIEM to centrally managed, right? And so your SOC knock, just like Interware, can have a single point of view, and they can send a report. They not only know the real time, but they can also go back to the historic event to search for the similar symptom, and then they can do the reaction to mitigation. And event detected, how can we do more? So we working with the FortiSOAR. And FortiStat integration as, again, security fabric, it can disable the user, that user in the AD Active Directory. It can blocking the malicious external IP. And then it will also block the future email with this payload. So this is collectively working together. In addition to that is if you have a network access control, and that the endpoints or devices infected can be isolated from the AP or switch, and then they will not spread out the malware to the other. Okay, so tie them all is how do we know? Where do I find those symptoms? How do we know like there's a adversary is attacking me? So our FortiGuard, as I mentioned earlier, we have 200 scientists and researchers around the world follow the sun. They're doing tirelessly research the latest attack threat on the verge, and then they will release the report. They released, you can sign up at the alert, right? Outbreak alert. So you will get an email once the new alert identified, and also you can search our website for malware encyclopedia to learn more about it. And give you an example, like this is the this year, February, we detect there's a VMware ESXi server because majority of organization, they will have the VMware infrastructure, and this is a threat to them. So we on the report, FortiGuard report, we have the detail, but background, what it's about, and also provide suggestion, right? What kind of protection you can get, how you protect it, with what components from the Fortinet fabric, and which version can protect you, and how you detect it with what components, and how you can respond with our solution, recover and identify. So you are getting a actionable response report rather than just say, hey, it's overall introduction, but where do I start? And this is the prescriptive report to help you get value quicker. Okay, last one is zero trust. I know we're today the focus on the antivirus, anti-malware, ransomware, but now for the zero trust. But zero trust play a very important role as well. So as you see, there's it's working with the user and device. So two-factor authentication is critical. So you don't allow the people, remote people, right? They can easily access your network, use your laptop or device to spread the malware onto your network via the VPN. So VPN is no longer safe. we should replace it with a zero trust network access. It's not no longer safe. VPN itself, IPsec or a TLS is still safe, but the way approach, right? We need to change the format. We need to continuously evaluate the trust that the context in order to enhance the security. And then that's a zero trust is journey. Its approach is a journey, is philosophy. It's not a single product. So we need to collectively to get to a better place. So that's including the micro-segmentation and as well as the privilege access management. We'd love to have another discuss this in detail in the future session, how we protect the user, devices, data access, and the segmentation. And with all the components we discussed earlier in our architecture, and they will intercept in each stage of the kill chain and to detect earlier, protect earlier, and you will be much better safe. Right? So this is the key points for our whole architecture is protect against all attack surfaces. And we adopt intelligent and integrated, very important, integrated solution architecture. And then we can respond to the threat across the ransomware architecture and timely and effectively. And then that will simplify your compliance if you are into the regulated compliance requirement. So the last one is takeaway is you can partner with us into Fortinet and into our solution. And you can do the following is what we suggest is take a maturity assessment to understand where you're at and where you want to be, right? That the level 5 optimizes where you want to be. But where are you at right now on your journey? Then we can analyze the gap. Then we can build a strategy. And that strategy for including incident response plan. Then when we identify the priority, then we can implement an advanced protection solution within our architecture, anti-ransomware architecture, right? There's a lot of components or solution there. You're leveraging our security fabric to connect it, broad protection, and automate it to protect you. And last but not least is help to train your user, bring the awareness training and make them better and increase the user experiences. Let's build a safe community together. And with that, that's wrap up my whole session. Thank you very much.
Mark H asks, what about encrypted traffic? I think this is for Jonathan. Yes.
That's a great question because the encrypted traffic is very, it's a great that for protect us when we do e-line like online shopping, e-commerce, online banking. It help protect us, but also adversary also using that to attack us. And the good thing about it is we have FortiGate, right? FortiGate is our signature. We offer the SSL deep decryption inspection, deep inspection. Then why we're proud of it is we have it using our custom designed ASIC chip. So when we doing decryption, we don't compromise the performance. So with that, we can inspect the traffic, open the encrypted traffic, inspect and identify the threat there. Thank you.
Also a question from Charles. Hey Troy, we have had occasional phishing simulations here and there. Are these enough to prevent ransomware? And how is Interware's security assessment offering different?
Sure. Well, first thing I can say is that there's no such thing as 100% secure. Phishing emails are eventually going to get through even the best spam filters. So running phishing simulators is good, but it's definitely not enough. What Interware offers, in addition to phishing simulators with our awareness training, we also offer our training is actually tailored to your business needs and requirements. So that's what separates it from just basic, let's say, quarterly phishing simulations. If you want any more information, just let me know by sending me an email. Camille, could you put my contact info into the chat?
For sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone for joining us, and we hope you gained new knowledge and understanding of the ever-evolving ransomware attacks. If you have any further questions or comments, please feel free to reach out to us. And yep, thank you again, and we look forward to seeing you in our next webinar.